Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the final round of market today on this fine Monday afternoon. This is the first day of the week, the first day of the April FNO expiry, the first day of the month, as also a new financial year right there in front of you. The Nifty, as we all know, opened gap up about 100 points and at the moment is about 22,454, 126 points higher. Ditto for the Nifty Bank, 47,500 for you, about 380 points higher. Both indices opened with a gap up, and from then on they've completely flattened out. There's nothing much happening there. But the broader markets are in absolutely fine shape. If you look at the National Stock Exchange, you have about 1900 shares in the green compared with 228 which are in the red. So the advanced decline ratio 9:1. We track about 19 indices for you. Out of 19, 18 are in the green. The rally today is led by the Nifty Realty Index, 4.5% higher at 937. It's the FMCG index that's in the red, but apart from that, the small cap index is up 2.8%. The mid cap index is about 1.5%. And if you look at the NSE 500, the broadest measure that we track, it's up 1%. Amongst the new highs in the market, it's the PSU theme that is dominating. We'll show you Cochin shipyards. It's moving very, very rapidly to a fresh record high as far as prices are concerned. It went up to all the way 970, and from then on a bit of profit booking is happening. As far as the Nifty is concerned, the gains are led by today the metal pack, JSW Steel 5% higher, 872. Tata Steel a fresh record high, 4.5% higher, 163. You have a strong move coming in on Shriram Finance, 2428, 2.9% higher. As far as the advanced decline on the Nifty is concerned, it's dramatically in favor of the bulls. Amongst the losers are Eicher Motors, 1.8% lower, 3946. If you look at the all-time highs here, it's Tata Motors, Adani Ports, L&T and Grasim, which are at record levels as far as prices for today is concerned. We are joined by Abhishek Basu Malik, founder and CEO at Intelligence Capital. A very warm good afternoon to you, Abhishek. How do you see the sentiment on today? We've had a fairly strong opening, but the bulls are unable to crack past 22,500. What is your sense of the market?
So first of all, thanks, and wishing all of you and all your viewers a wonderful new financial year. Hope we all continue to make money like we did last year. Coming to the markets, I think markets have been range bound if I look at it from a broader term perspective. And I don't think that we are still, yet out of the ranges yet. But I think overall we are getting into a pre-election rally kind of mode, if I would have to really categorize it. And I would not be surprised if we see a rally going in into the next month.
Fair point. That's the view coming in on the Nifty, and there are all signs which point to this direction. If you look at how the Nifty has shaped up so far, the last day of March, which was the previous Thursday, was also the end of the expiry for that particular month, and the index actually rallied very, very sharply on that particular day, helping bulls. Now a very strong support on technical charts as well as options plays has come in at 22,300, and that's dominated by bulls at that level. Beyond that, a resistance has been seen forming at about 22,500. Let's see what it takes to break that, but as Abhishek says, he sees higher levels coming in. At this point of time, Abhishek, what are you advising your clients? Are there some stocks that catch your fancy on the long side?
See, I think it's very important to understand that markets will go up and down. We saw pretty vicious profit taking last month, beginning of last month. Now we are seeing the other side where the broader markets have jumped up today. This thing is going to continue, in my opinion. We're going to see these kinds of diverse, very sharp up moves and down moves till we see the Indian elections, the US elections, all of these things play out. And liquidity has been extremely strong coming into India, both from domestic as well as expectations from FII flows. So overall, I think it's very important for people to understand that even though, we are close to all-time highs in the markets, this is not the time to be away from the markets. It's the time where you need to continue to, build your portfolios, continue to do your SIPs. That's what, broadly I'm advising my clients, because the biggest concern I hear today from investors is that, markets have run up so much, we are at all-time highs, should we, invest now? And the point is, if I look at, say, a Nifty at 22,000, at some point it will be at 30,000. So from the journey from 22 to 30 will mean that there will be many, many all-time highs which will come and go. So you can't sort of stop yourself from investing because Nifty is at a certain number which may be, close to the previous highs that it has made. So broadly, I think the message that I want to leave with all investors is the Indian economy is doing well. We are one of the bright spots in the global world. And we need to be invested in our own markets for the next at least a decade, I think.
Yes, you have a point there. But sadly for Abhishek, for products like ours on YouTube and for people like me, we live by the hour, if not by the minute. And therefore, on a daily basis, we need some material to be presented to our viewers. Be that as it may, that's not an issue. Yes, in the longer term, we look pretty good as far as prices are concerned. And yes, we need to be invested for a minimum period of 10 years. That's how sensible people like Abhishek advise their clients. Meanwhile, what I'll do is, Abhishek, I'll just take a detour into the markets. The activity
so
is really
add one more
as far
point,
as prices are concerned.
to what you
I'll
were
just
saying.
mark. Please do.
Sure. So, I'm not suggesting that we remain invested in one stock or a set of stocks for the 10 years. I understand that individuals will have different time horizons which are ideal for them. There are people who are happy day trading, swing trading, position trading, etc., etc. My point was that if you miss the bigger picture, that India as a country, as an economy, as a market is headed higher, right? That is what the basic point I want to make is that we are headed higher. You suit your time frame. If you are a day trader, be happy with it, but be invested. Don't shy away from investing because we are close to all-time highs.
Yes, absolutely. This probably is one of those golden periods that Indian equities are sort of undergoing, and people with a longer term horizon will definitely make more money than short term traders. I'll just seek your indulgence and mark a couple of stocks that are moving fairly rapidly. Adani Power, we'll just show you, is at circuit, up 5% at 560. A lot of hectic activity coming into stocks such as PNB Housing Finance. Remember, Morgan Stanley came out with a report in the morning, and that's just pushed the counter 14% higher at 721. Record volumes happening here. About 69 lakh shares have been traded on PNB Housing Finance. That's 17 times the 5-day average. You're seeing very strong gains coming in on Tejas Network. This is a double-digit gain, 10.9% higher. Tejas Networks at about 728, accompanied by a sharp burst in volume. 11 lakh shares have been traded, 4 times the 5-day average. Similarly, the two other shipbuilding companies from the Government of India, Garden Reach Shipbuilders, 5.7% higher, 808 rupees. We've discussed Cochin Shipyard, 9.7% higher, 956, and Mazgaon Docks. This is 7.5% higher, now at 2,000. So a fresh momentum has been seen as far as the PSU basket is concerned, especially defense stocks. This also includes BEL, 209.55 at the moment, doing fairly strong as far as prices are concerned. Coming to you, Abhishek, would you hold a view on any of the defense stocks? What catches your fancy?
See, I usually do not talk about individual stocks, but definitely will talk about the sectors. So defense, if you see, I think for the first time in independent Indian history, 21,000 crore export of defense orders is what we did, right? So that is a big landmark. And if you look at the geopolitics, how things are shaping up. This number is one going to go up, and we will also continue to have more domestic consumption of defense. If you look at the number of naval vessels that we are deploying today, uh, that is going up. So overall, I think this is a time when defense spending across the world is going to go up for the next few years. So most of the defense players that you talked about, the shipyards, they have order books which span multiple years. So all of these look good. There are other interesting plays, the BELs, the HLs that you mentioned. All of them are interesting. You need to take a specific call on a particular stock if you're interested. But overall, the sector looks very, very strong.
Fair point. Let's look at, in fact, the rallies across the board today. So why point out only the defense PSUs? If you look at the railway PSUs, they are doing phenomenally well. Railtel, 384.95, 5% higher. IRCTC 4% higher, 967. RITES at 691 is 4% higher, and they are accompanied by fairly decent volumes, especially in the case of RITES. About 13,91,000 shares are traded. Ditto RVNL. We started today's conversation with Mr. Dharmesh Kant. He mentioned RVNL has one of his picks, 3.3% higher, 261. Similarly, the entire PSU space is abuzz with gains today. We track 78 PSUs for you. Out of 78, you'll be surprised that only 3 are trading in the red, and they are Oil India, HPCL and BPCL. No surprise there, because you've seen a cut in cylinder prices as far as commercial gas is concerned, and that's hurt BPCL, HPCL. They provide LPG as well. Oil India is undergoing a bout of profit booking at about 585, 2.5% lower, 15 rupees down. Strong momentum across the board. Let's get Abhishek into the conversation. You spoke about defense PSUs, Abhishek. Anything in the broader PSU pack apart from defense and railways that catches your interest?
So I've been very, very bullish on Indian Railways, primarily because that's where you see a large part of government focused capex going in. I don't see that changing. That's something which is visible to the general public. I think that is going to continue. So most of the railway stocks should continue to do well. Very, very bullish on them. I think also the mid-sized PSU banks could be an interesting space to look out for, but that is more of a short to medium term kind of a play. Longer term, I would be more inclined towards the larger PSU banks or larger PSU insurance companies. That's probably a more value kind of space to be in. But mid-cap PSU banks is another very interesting area for the short to medium term.
Okay. PSU banks, of course, are also in the thick of action. I saw today in the morning Maharashtra Bank and Central Bank of India doing pretty well. Let's look at the Nifty PSU index and see what is it up to. As far as the index is concerned, as I had mentioned, 18 out of 19 are in the green. The Nifty PSU index is 1.4% higher, 7103. And needless to add, all 12 stocks comprising the index are in the green. Let's look at the top gainer here. Indian Overseas Bank, 6445, 7.5% higher. Very strong volumes, 2.25 crore shares traded here. Punjab Sindh Bank, 6% higher, 6340, about 33 lakh shares traded hands. Central Bank, UCO Bank, Maharashtra Bank, all in the thick of trade, up between 2.5% and 5%. Amongst the leading candidates, Bank of Baroda and Canara Bank are up about a percent each. And let's look at what the big daddy of them all is doing. State Bank of India, 0.6% higher, 757. Coming back to you, Abhishek, there is this theme in the market that large caps are likely to outperform mids and smalls when it comes to financial year 2024-25, which began today. which side of the equation do you stand? Would you favor broadly small caps and mid caps, or do blue chips find more acceptance at your level?
See, I personally, as an investor, am completely market cap agnostic. And I don't think, when a man or a business person gets up in the morning, goes to office, he thinks about running his business differently. If his stock, is a large cap versus a mid cap versus a small cap, he will do his own thing. So, what our job as investors is to find out good businesses which has a long runway of growth and where valuations to an extent are in our favor. That is the bottom line. It does not really matter uh, whether the stock is a large cap or a mid cap or a small cap. Now, having said that, I personally think that this year will probably favor a little bit more of the large caps and larger mid caps than small caps per se, because I think there is some amount of exuberance that is there in especially the SME side and maybe the small cap side. Once that sort of uh, stabilizes, I think then we will see a significant rally there. But ultimately, it will depend on the individual stocks that we are talking about. But in general, I think it will be better to be positioned with large caps and larger mid caps, at least for the next few months.
Okay, with that, Abhishek, thank you so much for your time. As
Thank you.
always, we'll remember this wonderful advice on long-term investing from you, and let's hope for you and for all the clients who subscribe to your view at Intelligence Capital, the current financial year that starts today comes out to be phenomenally well compared with what returns you clocked in the previous year. Thank you so much for your time. Okay. Kunal Ramya will be joining us shortly, but between then and now, 22,450 is what the Nifty is trading at, 133 points higher. Let's look at the contributors as far as the Nifty is concerned. As I had said, it's been a very, very strong show in the markets today. HDFC Bank has contributed 24 points to this rally of 130 on the Nifty so far. L&T has contributed 21 points. TCS, which is about 1.2% higher, brings in about 12 points. JSW Steel and NTPC together about 9 points each. What is pulling the Nifty lower? Bharti Airtel down by about 8 points. Titan down by about 7 points. And of course, you see ITC pulling the Nifty lower by 8 odd points as far as the index is concerned. A bit of a profit booking happening on auto stocks today. Remember, the run-up had been equally sharp. It being the first day of April. It being the first day of April, this is the monthly data that's coming in. I'm just wondering if Kunal Ramya has joined in. We'll be checking that in a while. But look at, yes, Kunal is here. A very warm welcome to you, Kunal. We'll start with the view on Nifty. A gap up of 100 points, but 22,500 sort of capped the index, at least for today. What do you think is happening, and where is the index headed this April?
Very good afternoon, Shell sir. Good afternoon to all our viewers. So if you look at the Nifty, what you said is absolutely correct. Today we saw the gap up open, but now if you look at the behavior, after opening up, we saw some kind of profit booking also on the index, and we are near to the previous high, which we made somewhat on 7th March and 11th March. And that particular high on the spot Nifty was 22,525 levels. So unless and until we cross that level, I think a bit of sideways consolidation or say some kind of profit booking on index is likely. And for now, at least for next 1 week, I would focus more on the stock specific rather than on index trading. Yes, sir.
Okay, and what are the stocks that catch your interest?
So the first counter which I really like today is IRCTC. Now, if you look at the performance, it's been 1.5 month of sideways consolidation, and today it's giving a decisive breakout. And that breakout is actually was in the morning itself at 950, 955 levels. Right now it's trading at 967. So yeah, it's a confirmed breakout right now on the charts. So with the stop loss of 950, one can initiate a buy on this. I think the target can be as high as 1,000. Also, when we come to mid cap counters, the PSU banks, like which we saw in the those February and March month, like IOB and Ken Bank, these counters are again looking very attractive. So I come back to IOB. The counter is trading right now at around 64 and a half. Again, this 1.5 month of sideways price consolidation is now coming to an end. So with the stop loss of around 60 rupees, one can initiate a buy and the targets can be as high as 80 to 85 again.
Okay, this is a fresh wave that started in Indian Overseas Bank. I'm requesting the PCR to draw a long-term chart. The stock has corrected consistently from 83 rupees all the way down to 54, and as Kunal says, a fresh move has begun. We'll also take a view on Maharashtra Bank from Kunal. Kunal, how is Maharashtra Bank looking to you? Both of these stocks, IOB and Bank Maharashtra, moving on pretty strong volumes today. In fact, multiple times their 5-day average.
Absolutely, Shelsa. So if you look at Maharashtra Bank, this counter was actually in the sideways consolidation, and if you look at the chart, it was a range breakout which we are witnessing today. In IOB, it's a falling wedge breakout, whereas in case of Bank of Maharashtra, it's a sideways consolidation breakout. Breakout was at around 62. Presently, it's trading at 65 plus some levels. So with the stop loss of 58, one can initiate a buy even on Bank of Maharashtra, and the targets can again be the fresh high, which is 70 and above, and the next target can be 75 levels.
Okay, this is how the markets are performing. Just look at the bank Nifty. At the moment, 47,550 for you, 431 points higher. While PSU banks are actually pulling all the load that they can, it's HDFC Bank which is contributing to substantial gains, 1.5% higher, 1470. ICICI Bank 0.5% higher, 1097. Kunal, would you have a view on these private banks? What are the charts telling you?
So, sir, if I look at HDFC Bank, we have seen this broader consolidation again since almost, I think, around the beginning of January, mid of Jan, and the resistance consistently this counter is facing it is at around 1475. So until this 1475 is taken out decisively, we'll just remain cautious, and rather than deploying the funds in this, we'll focus more on the PSU banks which are outperforming right now. But yes, if HDFC Bank successfully gives the breakout of 1475, then the targets of 1550 to 1575 are also very much likely, where we saw the previous gaps coming on the charts. So yes, I'm bullish, but I'm waiting for the breakout of 1475 as of now.
Okay, just as we converse on HDFC Bank, as far as futures are concerned, there is a pretty strong build-up that's happening. Let me just see what kind of open interest is building up in HDFC Bank. Of course, it's 1% higher as far as futures are concerned, but the open interest here is to the extent of 0.3%, nothing much happening here. Let's focus on the sector of the day, which is metals. Very, very strong move coming in on Hindustan Copper. The chart will be there in front of you. Two developments, some capacity stoppages happening in China that's rubbed positively on copper prices in the metal space, and of course a very strong breakout on Hind Copper in domestic stock prices. Although it's up 8.2%, Kunal, do you think this momentum will continue further? This is accompanied by a surge of 17% in the open interest.
Sir, look at 14th March low that was at around 237, and now counter is at around 305, clearly raising the hand saying that it's the strongest counter as of now in the entire pack. And today it has given the entire broader consolidation breakout. And with right now, I think it's trading in the circuit. It already hit the circuit of 10%. So yes, it's looking very attractive with the stop loss of at around. So stop loss is going to be a little far. So that's at around 280. One can certainly initiate a buy, even accumulate on decline till the time this 280 is support is taken care of. The targets can be as high as 315 to 320 immediately, and 325 to 330 going forward.
Okay, the price that you see on Hindustan Copper, ladies and gentlemen, was last seen in December of 2011. So that makes it a breakout of about 13 years in the making. And the reason for this breakout is fundamental. If you look at how copper prices are moving at the moment as far as the global commodity markets are seen, it's mainly on the lack of supply, and Goldman Sachs is actually forecasting a 40% increase in commodity copper prices by mid 2025. The other thing is that Chinese copper smelters are proposing a cut in production of 5 to 10%, and this is the two reasons that copper prices in the commodity space and stock prices on stock markets such as Hindustan Copper have moved up so sharply. What are the other counters that are in thick trade as far as metals are concerned? JSW Steel, that's the top gainer, up about 4%. And what's really interesting is that Tata Steel has hit a record high today. Coming back to you, Kunal, what would be your preferred choice? JSW Steel, which is slightly more higher beta than Tata Steel, or Tata Steel, which is at a record high 163.10? What do you think?
Well, sir, I'll be more comfortable with the counter which is trading in the open sky, and that's open air counter is Tata Steel. There is no previous high. The counter is clearly trending near to the all-time high. So with the stop loss of around 157, even one can initiate a position at the present levels and keep trailing the stop loss. Now here we'll not discuss about the targets. Only reason being, let the counter rally till the time it's comfortable, right? So we'll keep trailing as and when the counter moves up by 5 rupees. Keep trailing your stop loss by slowly 3.5 to 4 rupees and hold the position. I think this can surprise most of us in a big positive way going forward.
Okay, fair point. And two stocks that have got a huge retail interest. One is Bombay Stock Exchange, fresh high 2740, and with that Bombay Stock Exchange also moves CDSL. Remember, CDSL had a block deal of 7% equity last week, but it's just shrugged that off and moved fairly rapidly. This is a swing trade in the making, Kunal. How about CDSL first? 1834. The stock was at 1727 early morning, so it's about 110 rupees higher. Is there more in the works?
See, interesting observation on CDSL is that from November, this counter was in sideways consolidation. The support was placed at around 1700 mark. Just last week, when we saw the block deal happening, the counter actually came lower below the support level, and now today it's shoot up significantly. So from risk reward point of view, I think this counter is still available near to the support. So with the stop loss of around 1725, one can initiate a buy on CDSL, fresh buy, and the targets can be the previous high, which is around 2050, and above that we can have the targets of 2250, which is based on the range breakout target. So that's the view on CDSL.
Okay, and would you stick your neck out on BSE, or is that overheated?
No, I'm still very much comfortable with BSE. In fact, today, the 4th December high, which was at around 25.95 to be precise, that's taken out decisively. It's a 3 months consolidation breakout, which we are witnessing on the 1st April itself, and that brings this counter in a new range on the higher side. So with the stop loss of 2550, one can initiate a buy even on BSE, and the targets can again be 2950 to 3000 levels.
Okay, 3000 is what is looking good on BSE, is what Kunal says, but meanwhile another bank is clicking, and this is Central Bank of India. This one is looking really hot. 63.25 for you, Kunal. Let me just look at some other statistics till the time you give your view on Central Bank of India. Let me just find out what the circuit is today. It's 5.6% higher. Kunal, Central Bank of India.
Shell, sir, all three counters, IOB, we have Bank of Maharashtra and Central Bank, almost all three of them
Absolutely.
are in the same kind of formation. If you look at the formation wise, IOB and Central Bank are just going hand in hand. So it's a falling wedge breakout again on the chart with the stop loss of around 55. One can initiate a buy on Central Bank and the targets can be 75 as a first target. And above that, again, the new range might just get open on the higher side. So we all three counters are as of now looking the best on the breakout point of view.
Okay, and let me just share this statistic with you, which I'm sure will find a lot of resonance with people who track volume as well as price. As far as central bank is concerned, we have about, okay, this is a bit confusing for a lot of viewers. What is 5-day average volume? 68 lakhs is the 5-day average volume, and today's volume is 3 crore 16. So it's a 5x that is coming in on central bank. What's also clicking is on the bull side is a National Aluminium. This is a long time favorite of a lot of traders, and you have a huge price uptick. This is the 5th day of the rally, so I'll be very cautious, but 164 160 160 coming in front of you. The all-time high is 169.70. Let's see what Kunal has in mind. It's, almost all metals are up. Kunal, National Aluminium for you.
Well, sir, again, the formation is really bright. And what's more interesting is that actually this counter lost ground on specifically on 13th of March when this counter was down by around 10, more than 10%, where I thought it's a consolidation breakdown. So even my position, which was open, we covered, we booked a profit on that day. After 3 to 4 days of consolidation, this counter again regained that lost ground. And now see, today it's up by around 6% again. So I think this counter is now heading for a new high very soon. So with the trailing stop loss of around 152, if someone is holding the position, that can be the stop loss. If someone is creating fresh position, then the stop loss will again be almost the same. That's 150. One can initiate a buy and the targets can again be 175 plus levels in very short span of time.
कोई बात नहीं. That's how it is. And let's look at the Nifty Metals Index. As I was pointing out, this is amongst the top 3 gainers, 3.7% higher, 85.62. And ladies and gentlemen, all 15 shares of the Nifty Metals Index that comprise and make up the index are in the green. Let me just look at the F&O picture as far as metals is concerned. And there's a very sharp move coming in. I'll just share. Yes, okay. JSW Steel has an open interest of 8.1%. These are all additions, of course. You have Vedanta, which has a 3% interest in addition in open interest, and there is NMDC, a 5.3% interest in addition in open interest. Tata Steel, ladies and gentlemen, it is at a record high, and surprise, here the open interest has actually fallen. So the sharp spurt that you see is accompanied by a sharp drop in open interest, which essentially means that all the bearish positions that were there in the market have been to some extent wiped out, and that's the reason why the sharp outburst that's coming. Indian Overseas Bank, we'll mark it again, 64.70 for you. Remember, this is the conversation that was started by Kunal. The counter is now up 8.5%, 64.75. So the theme of low ticket size and high beta is doing pretty well. 3:12 p.m. ladies and gentlemen. There's nothing much happening on the Nifty. It's flat as flat can be. Opened 100 points higher, and from then on about 135 points higher, 22,461. There's a 440 point uptick on Bank Nifty, 47,564. Both these indices are sharply in the green, but nothing much has happened after their opening. It's the PSU finance, home finance companies that are doing pretty well. We'll start with the obvious one, PNB Housing. Kunal, your view? Morgan Stanley has upgraded the stock very sharply, the counter gaining 17%. More in the pipeline, given the chart?
See, Shell sir, again, if you look at PNB housing, the counter actually made a bottom at around 610, and this bottom was somewhere seen during August 2023. And post that, we saw the massive rally till 900. We saw the recent correction, and today it's up by around 18-19% in the trade. Now, for the fresh position, one cannot keep the stop loss on the daily chart because that's going to be, the risk reward being unfavorable. So one needs to be little, proactive on this kind of counters. One can initiate a buy. The stop loss has to be around 725, and I think this massive volume which we are seeing on the chart might just take the price to near to previous high, or say at least in that higher territory, which is between 850 to 900 zone. So with the stop loss of 725, one can initiate a buy, and the targets can be 825 to 830 as the beginning target, and then we keep trailing the stop loss till the time the target of 900 is achieved.
Also, in this very bullish move is Canfin Homes. In fact, the entire housing finance theme is burning and moving very sharply. Canfin Homes, the bounces from 200 DMA, 791. It's moving on fairly sharp volumes. What you see in front of you is about 6,85,000 shares that's been traded. Kunal, what is your view on Canfin Homes? The all-time high for this one is 908.
Sir, if I look at Canfin Home, the counter actually was in sideways consolidation since June 2023. The bottoms were near to 715, which we saw almost 4 to 5 times. And on the higher side, what I can see on the chart is 830 to 840 is a strong resistance, which is consistently getting created on the chart. So yeah, from short-term point of view, one can certainly initiate a buy with the stop loss of around 775. The first target can be 830 to 835. But then again, we need to be a little cautious. We'll wait for this range breakout to happen. Above 835, I think the counter can really surprise in a big way. But otherwise, that can turn out to be a resistance, and that can also be the target for the short-term traders. So with the stop loss of 745, one can initiate a buy, and the targets can be 835 for now.
Okay, there are some performance updates that are coming in from BEL while the PCR fires the stock for you. I'll just give you what the update has come in. It's related to the turnover. So the company has informed the Bombay Stock Exchange that it's hit a record turnover of about 19,700 crore rupees for the financial year 2023-24. And this is probably one of the reasons why the stock is in such fine shape today. BEL for you, ladies and gentlemen, is now trading 4.5% higher, 210. Record high, just to confirm. Any view that you would hold, Kunal, on BEL?
Absolutely trending counter shares, sir. We saw a classic correction between this during the end of March, where the counter actually came down from 215 to 185. But as we say in technicals, the trend is our friend and the trend remains intact. One can certainly initiate a buy even on this bounce with the stop loss of around 195 for now. One can initiate a buy, and the targets can be 225, 230. Once the target is achieved, keep trailing the stop loss and ride the rally till the time the trend is on.
Okay, so that's the view that is coming in as far as BEL is concerned. A whole host of stocks are now buzzing now. Within the banking space, we've discussed lots of smaller PSU banks, but the big daddy of them all, Canara Bank, is now in an uptick. The price that you see, 560, is in the futures, but a 3-week high on Canara Bank in cash, 590.10. Also on the move is Federal Bank. At the moment, I see a lot of block deals happening for it. 152.80 for you, and this is moving out of a cluster of moving averages. This is interesting for you. Your view on Federal Bank, Kunal?
So if you look at Federal Bank, again, a classic sideways consolidation, and as you rightly mentioned, coming out of that cluster of moving averages, it's mainly because the counter was just in consolidation, because all the PSU banks are now performing and this counter is still near to the support itself. So it's actually offering good risk reward ratio for some short term to mid term traders with the stop loss of 145. one can certainly initiate a buy on this. And the first target, conservative target, has to be 160. Once the counter manages to close above 160, I think then the rooms for the higher side will certainly be open. Meanwhile, we can trail the stop loss and hold on the position. So yes, from the risk reward point of view, this counter is also looking very attractive.
Okay, and there is another line of update that's coming in on Bharat Electronics. The company says its total order book as of April 1st, 2024, that is today, stands at around 76,000 crore rupees. Do the math, ladies and gentlemen. The sales turnover is 90,700, so 76 divided by 19.7. That gives you a visibility of 3.8 years if the order book remains constant and if the sales remain where it is. So extremely bullish for this particular counter, and no surprise there that the counter is moving rapidly higher. Last time we checked, it was 208, now 211.55, up about 5%, and the upper circuit is far away. Don't worry about that one. But the 52-week high is 216.8. Very strong moves coming in on BEL. Okay, it's accelerating now. The moment we've seen the update coming in on its order book position, 212 now. Let me just check the positioning as far as the open interest is seen. Meanwhile, Kunal, would you want to re-emphasize your view on BEL? The open interest is 5.9% higher. That's good. Kunal.
Now on the intraday chart, sir, if I look at the volumes, as we are witnessing even on the price action, the price is going up with the increasing volumes, right? So that's a very positive sign. Immediate trailing stop loss should be now 208.5. That's just near to the price level itself, almost 3.5 rupee. One can even add the fresh position at the present level, and the targets can now be 218. I will not be really surprised if the counter hits the same in next 10 minutes also. So yes, with the stop loss of 208, one can reinitiate a buy or say at the fresh position even at the present levels.
Okay, three things are going in favor of BEL. One, there is a defense theme that's being played out since morning. It started with Cochin Shipyard hitting a record high, and it's also reclaimed its early morning highs, 972U. Then we had the likes of Mazagaon Docks and Garden Reach shipbuilders move in sync with Cochin Shipyard. And now, of course, you have BEL updating shareholders and the broader markets in general about its sales outlook for sales for the year that's gone by. And of course, the stunning order book of 76,000 crore rupees. The stock, remember, is still not at a record high, but fairly close to it. The record high is 217 rupees that we saw on 11th of March. It's a no-brainer. It'll be there by tomorrow, if not later this week. So far, the 5-day average is about 13 lakh shares, and so far 13.3 lakh shares have been traded on BEL. Very strong move coming in. The futures have the price of 214. 321, ladies and gentlemen. This is the first day of the month, the expiry, as also the financial year. Let's just do a recap of what all is happening across the board. Fairly strong buoyancy coming in on Dalal Street. The first day has been the continuation of Thursday, which was the last trading day of the previous financial year, and a lot of pent-up demand is seen coming in. Markets are preparing themselves for the quarterly earnings that are coming in, and this week is a very macro-heavy day. The Monetary Policy Committee of the Reserve Bank of India will start its 3-day policy meet on April 3rd. On 5th of April, we have the RBI credit policy, and that itself is reason enough for a lot of banks to be fairly hectic. There is a view in the market that interest rates globally have peaked, and it's only a matter of time how they will be headed in the coming 2-3 months. RBI's commentary on the sharp outperformance of GDP will be looked at, as also its stance on inflation and interest rates over the next 2 or 3 days. And there is no surprise that you see banking leading the rally. among them non-banking financial companies as well, whose business is heavily dependent on which way the rates move. To you, Kunal, any view that you would have on Muthoot Finance, one of the top gainers, and affected very clearly by positively by the record high that you're seeing on gold prices?
See, sir, if you look at the Muthoot Finance behavior for the entire year of 2024, earlier in the beginning of January, this counter was somewhere near to 1525, and from there we saw the sharp decline of around 1265. Now, this in this entire correction, there was no volume actually, and what we are seeing now is a clear higher top, higher bottom volume, higher top, higher bottom getting formed on the chart. The first buying interest was seen on 21st of March when this counter was up by 7%. And since then, this is the third day where we are witnessing same kind of buying emerging again. So I will not be surprised if this counter makes a new fresh high very soon. That's at around 1740 to 45. Just one request to all our viewers that if they are willing to take up this particular trade, they have to have little, the margin of safety because of extreme volatility. So with the stop loss of around 1470, one can initiate a buy and the targets can be the fresh high, which is around 1740 to 1750 levels.
Okay. I would also like to mark the chart of Vedanta. Normally, I make it a point not to talk about this stock for various reasons. But the chart structure and the volume are actually fairly strong. 287 for you, Kunal. And this is, if you look at the FNO space, is accompanied by a 3% rise in open interest. Would you hold a view on Vedanta?
Honestly, sir, it's been almost a year. That is from Feb 2023 so far. I'm just waiting for this counter to cross 290 mark. Almost 7 to 8 times this counter reached near to that level itself, and what we have seen is a decline coming in. So just waiting for that trigger to come in. By any chance this counter manages to close about 290, 295 zone, I think we can see a big spurt to the extent of 325, 330 levels. So for our viewers, again, just wait for a day or two. Let it close above that level. Then with the stop loss of around 5%, we can initiate a buy on this.
Yeah, I'm very, very hesitant in talking about Vedant publicly because it's been more of a disappointment for long-term holders rather than, creating value. Be that as it may. But Kunal says beyond 290 is what you should look at. Just 5 minutes away, Kunal. Anything that catches your fancy on BTST or STBT?
Shell, so what I can see right now is that after we started the show, this counter Borosil Renewables is again showing good volumes. When you look at today's behavior, it's up by around 9%. And in last half an hour only, it went up by actually from 535 to 542 levels. Now my breakout was placed at around 540. Now that alert got triggered just 15 minutes back. It's trading at 542. I think this counter can again give a good rally in just a couple of days time. Not if BTSC, then in this week. So with the stop loss of 525, one can think of initiating a buy on this, and the targets can be around 575. That's the first counter. And second is IDBI Bank. Now this counter is, of course, the formations are same as IOB and Central Bank, but this counter is more or less muted. I'm just waiting for this counter to give a breakout of around 85 levels. Above 85, I think with the stop loss of 80, one can initiate a buy and the targets can again be 95. So yes, these are the two counters which I'm watching out for today also and for this coming week also.
Fair point. So you have the view on IDBI Bank coming in from Kunal. Just 3 minutes left. Let me just now start wrapping up the markets. The final stock that I'll mark for today is Canfin Homes. This is now trading 798.45 in cash, and about a block deal worth almost 3 crores has happened on this one. 36,851 shares in a single transaction at 798.45. This is a bounce that's happened from 200 DMA, and in one single motion the stock has broken past all the shorter term 50, 20, 10, 8, 9 EMAs in one single shot. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, we started today on a very strong note. The index, which is the Nifty, opened 100 points up, and from then on it failed to deliver what was expected. The 22,500 resistance for the moment has proved very, very strong for the index. The high for today was something like 22,527. Therefore, technically, we've hit a record high on the first day of the April expiry, but the resistance has proved itself to be fairly strong. We'll see in the coming days how it pans out. In terms of the broader markets, it was a day that was totally in favor of bulls. We've seen hectic buying activity in small caps, in mid caps, in PSUs, in metal counters, in realty shares, in IT counters, as well as many other indices which are ending very sharply in the green. Amongst the top gainers today, the media index 4.7% higher, 1879 for you. The realty index 4.3% higher, 938. Metals index 3.6% higher, 8555. Small cap, mid cap, Alpha 50, the PSU banking index, are between 1.4 and 3.3%. An extremely strong advanced decline ratio as far as bulls are concerned on the National Stock Exchange. 1900 shares in the green, 220 in the red. Coming to the Nifty today, as far as the index heavyweights were concerned, it is L&T 2% higher, fresh record high, 3840. HDFC Bank shone throughout the day, 1.5% higher, 1470. Remember, this is the highest weighted stock. TCS about 1.2% higher, 3924. Infosys and Reliance flat. Infosys has disappointed, but be that as it may, this is how markets are. I'll also mention the record highs that have been hit across the board within the Nifty 500. The ones that are there in the limelight: Cochin Shipyard 967, Bombay Stock Exchange 2708, Schneider Electric 5% higher, 778, Tata Steel 162, 85% higher. Adani Ports, ABB, Thermax, Oracle Finance, HAL, L&T, Siemens. All of these stocks now in fresh orbits and moving on very strong volumes. As far as volume buzzers are concerned, the day was stolen by Punjab PNB Housing, 20% higher. Okay, 755. An extremely low undervaluation as far as Morgan Stanley is concerned lit the stock up. 97 lakh shares have been traded, which are 24 times the 5-day average. You have Tejas Networks 11% higher on strong volumes. Garden Reach Shipbuilders 5.6% higher. Cochin Shipyard 11% higher. These are all volume buzzers. And let's look at circuits. Today is a day to enjoy circuits. So you have PNB Housing that I have described. The rest of the names, it's better I don't take them. Maybe just one or two. No, none of the names should be mentioned on air except for Cochin Shipyard. Maybe Schneider Electric 5% higher, 778, and KPI Green 1599, 5% higher. As also NetWeb Technologies, this is a recent IPO, 1688, 5% higher. So this, ladies and gentlemen, was the day as far as the market is concerned on what has been a very good start for the month of April. We'll thank Kunal here if he's still with us. Thank you so much, Kunal, for your time and the lovely stock picks that you mentioned.
My pleasure.
This is a good beginning, a good first step, and we hope your presence is now a little more predictable, a little more quicker for the current financial year. Good to be back in touch with you. Thank you very much.
My pleasure, sir. Thank you so much.
Okay, ladies and gentlemen, with that, we'll draw to a close on market today. Stick around for business today for all updates on the financial side. Thank you so much for your time.
Peacocks. There are peacocks on this list.
Nice.